someone like you could love.
Okay, I got a C in GCSE maths, so just give me the time. Okay, nod if we're all on the same wavelength now. Okay, cool. So with your number, the 2 digits, add them together. And that should give you a new number. Okay, bear with me. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Super, so you got your new number. Take away 5 from that number. Okay? Okay, we've got a new number. Everyone's nodding their heads. Okay, now with that number, so I'm all about memory. We need to associate the alphabet to it. So if you've got number 1, associate A. If you've got 2, associate B. So on and so forth. Okay, so you should all have a letter now. Okay? Perfect. With that letter that you have, associate the first country that comes to mind. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of a moment, have a little think. Okay, once you've got a country in mind, the second letter, now associate an animal. Okay. Picture the colour of the animal. Now for those of you that had Denmark, could you please stand up as your country? You markers are so predictable, I tell you. Okay, and if you had an elephant as your animal, you can sit down if you don't choose elephant. Okay. What's the majority? Brilliant. Okay, take a seat. Now, a little exercise. Those that didn't stand up, what other countries did you choose? Because Dubai isn't a country.
Ethiopia.
Armenia.
Oh. 1 second, so we've got different numbers, we've got different countries. Interesting. Okay, people obviously, their maths went off something. I can't give you the secret, but the idea is everyone was meant to be on the number 4. Okay, so if you didn't end up on 4, something went wrong. I'm not a maths teacher either. Okay. But what I want to show you with that exercise is that's how our memory works. There's 3 things we did there. The first one, I got your attention. Okay, so whether you like it or not, you'll remember that if you remember anything today. The second part, avoidance bias. We don't like to be wrong, or potentially be wrong. So if you did get 4, shout out to everyone who got C in GCSE maths, you got 4, you probably, of course, thought Denmark, but you wanted to be different, what all marketers in here. Okay, so you thought maybe of Dubai, but then you're like, oh, it's Dubai a country, which it isn't. I had to Google that, it's a city. Okay, and then of course when it came to the final step, getting you to stand up. As your body moves, your brain grooves. Okay, the same part of your brain that controls memory, the hippocampus, controls movement. So if you want to remember something, stand up, get moving about. And this is why my name's John Harry, and hopefully you'll remember that. So, introducing what we're about to go through today. It's not all going to be about me, you're going to be doing quite a bit as well. So, learning points, my story. It's always good to know who the speaker is, so then hopefully I can get some sort of credibility with yourselves. We'll then have an icebreaker. There's a lot of beautiful people in this room, and hopefully we can all get to know one another. Next, how we remember. I know you don't care about the process, you want to care about the results, but it always helps. Then we'll go on to 2 key things for remembering names, association, and review. Finally, one last thing to remember. Before we begin, I hope some of us can relate to this, myself included. I'm not God amongst mere mortals. This happens to me as well. Interestingly enough, we don't forget the name of people that are important or attractive. Once again, it comes down to attention. Okay? So how do we remember someone's name? Especially in a networking environment, a lot of names, a lot of faces all in one space. Our brain hates that. But what you need to understand is there is no such thing as a bad memory. Just an untrained memory. If you think that you will, and you most probably, are bad at remembering people's names, well, you'll forget the next person you'll meet. But Joe, if I told you I'd give you £500, the next person I introduce you to, and you have to remember it by the end of the night, hopefully you remember it. My bank account would be sorry. But it's all about motivation. Okay, if we have a reason to remember something, we'll remember it, all right. Now I'd like to introduce you to the person that changed my memory, and of course a huge influence in my life. This woman, growing up around her, taught me that being a kid, I couldn't really get by with normal conversations. Hanging around people who were 50 years above, conversations were different. And talking to people would be different when I went to school as my home life. This person is my mum, and she taught me that everyone's a stranger until you get to know them. And therefore, you need to talk to people. But not only have that, how do you have a really good conversation with someone? Like I say, she didn't have the energy to keep up with me at a young age. So I had to evolve and learn how can I get people's attentions and how can I show them that I care. Remembering someone's name is one of the first steps. And here I am, starting my company. Unfortunately, I'm not a marketer, so my Photoshop skill. Oh, you didn't do this, did you?
No.
That's Owen, by the way, is my marketer. He does all the good stuff. He makes me try to look good. I started StudyFast about 3 years ago. And I teach people how to read faster and remember more. I have a speed reading and memory training company. And we deliver workshops, we have online courses, and we have a number of instructors. And since 3 years, we've now taught over 7,000 people from over 140 countries. And Owen doesn't know this, but we're 1,000 views off from 1 million on my TED Talk. And the TED Talk was only to 10 people. So yeah, really excited. So thank you, Joe, for having me today. Thank you. So an icebreaker. I want you all, in just a moment, God forbid anyone sitting next to Alex, turn to the person next to you. Remember their name, okay? So it should be pretty easy. You've got the name badges. I won't tell you to take them off, okay? I want you to remember a fun fact about them, okay? This is going to be a competition as well. So I want you to put your hand up if the person sitting next to you has a pretty cool fun fact. And then finally, I want you to remember, why are they here today? Hopefully you all have some sort of purpose. You're not wasting your time. So I'll give you about 3 minutes, starting from now.
What's his name? No, my name's That's a fun fact. What? It's not better than I was like, what is that? So yeah, that's my fun fact. Wow. That's my fun fact. I don't know how to pronounce it like you. Dinosaur. Yes, I like that. I remember that one. Oh yeah, he did. We went through his really good. Teaches me a lot. I work in mental health. I do this. I've been doing photography for the past. And then with marketing, we started. That's incredible. Wow, how do you find that? Eye-opening. It's eye-opening, hectic, it's everything.
Sorry to interrupt, and then we're getting involved. Did everyone get to know one another? Normally one person goes on for the whole 3 minutes. Alex, good man. Okay. Now show your hands. Who thinks the person next to them has a pretty fun fact? Okay, quite a few hands. Okay. Anastasia, we'll go with you first. Who are we sat next to? Name?
Bart.
So it's Bart. Okay, awesome. Do you remember his name? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
A fun fact.
He lived on 3 continents, and I know which ones, but that's personal.
Okay, and why Scott here today?
He wants to meet new people. He wants to become so fast.
Everybody heard it.
Okay. I hope we get to those personal continents. I know you said this is someone quite interesting.
This is Trent.
Trent.
He kind of has to show you his fun fact.
What? Okay. Can you explain what it is?
He can wiggle his nose.
Trent, are you happy to share?
Wait, let me zoom in first.
Actually, the thing is, I had a different fun fact, but he kind of pops his line
Oh, yeah.
something else.
I love that. We won't need to perform yet. And
The Zoom ready.
Why is Valenti?
First and foremost, to find out about the Facebook stuff.
Nice.
Secondly, to find out if he remembers these things.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you. And one more. Yes, John.
This is Sashin.
Session.
Sashin wants to write movies for Walt Disney.
Yes, sir.
And he's here today to find out about marketing for his startup.
Brilliant. And we've already had a great chat, so I definitely recommend speaking to Session. Thank you very much for everyone for sharing. So, jumping ahead, as I mentioned before, everyone is a stranger until you get to know them. Okay, so hopefully now the person next to you isn't so much of a stranger. But how do we remember? Okay, there's a Hubbard Special 5. Hubbard came up with this number. He was a great physiologist of figuring out how the brain worked. And he found that the magic number 5, if we could remember something 5 times, it would be in our long-term memory. The first time was immediately after. The second one was the next day. The third one, take a guess.
Day after.
A week after. The fourth one, a month. And the fifth one was anywhere between 3 to 6 months. If you could recall that information, that was going to be stored into your long-term memory forever. So there's 5 things of how we remember. The first one is you need attention. You need to be paying attention to what your wife is saying, or she'll be in trouble later on. I don't have a wife that I know of. Second one, visual images. Okay, we remember 60% more if we have visual images. It's ironic that there's none on here. Oh, that's your fault. Number 3, association. The way we learn is we associate new knowledge to pre-existing knowledge. So if you can associate something you already know to something quite new, like a language, a martial arts, a name, you will find that you can remember it a lot more. Fourth one is location, and you'll understand shortly when I use Alex as an example why location is so key to memory. And finally, review. So we talked about reviewing something 5 times. When you leave here today, hopefully you can remember people's names, test yourself on the way home. So we'll jump straight into association. So when you first meet someone, associate their name with someone you already know. This isn't always easy, but think of a best friend, think of a colleague, and attach those emotions to this new person. Once again, you're making it easy for your brain. Your brain is lazy. It wants to be efficient, so make it so. Next, a celebrity, because you're not always going to have a best friend or a colleague that you know. Now, my name is Jordan Harry, so one way you can remember my name is Michael Jordan slam dunking on Prince Harry. So again, my photoshopping skills aren't the best. But it's quite a humorous image, right? And our brain loves things that are gory, sexual, humorous. That's how we work as humans. So if you can, every time now you picture me, you think of me quite athletic, Michael Jordan, dunking on my surname, Prince Harry, that should probably stick with you today. And you can do that again with everyone in this room. Now, caution with this, when you tell someone their association, it can be quite embarrassing, okay? So when we do this technique with Alex in a moment, we won't want to tell all of it. Substitute words, okay? Substitute words are very simple. You will meet people with quite unique names. Shashin, for example, it's not an easy to pronounce name, is it? And yet, I don't think anyone in here can come up with a celebrity or someone they know called Shashin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Shashin.
Like passion with an S. That's what I said.
Because as a cricketer, Sachin.
Ah, there you go. Excellent. But only one person. At least we can use that now. We can use that. So what you can do, you can break that word down. When I was in Hong Kong, I met a lovely lady, and she's the only one I remember from the event, and her name was Xiao Chor. Nothing came. Do you know a cricketer called Shao Shaw? If you said yeah, I would have believed you. Yeah. So Shao Shaw, I broke it down into what it sounded like. So Shao sounded like Shaolin monk. I never told her this. God help me when I meet her. So I pictured a Shaolin monk, and the second part of her name was Chaw. So I pictured a Shaolin monk scrubbing the floor. Okay? So every time I see this woman, I think of Shaolin monk scrubbing the floor. Okay? Once again, careful with your associations. But this is the best way our brains work. Especially when you're meeting people with unique names. Break it down to what it sounds similar, and use substitute words to recall yourself. Location. Now Alex, if I could have you as a volunteer. If you come to the stage, please. Round of applause for Alex. Please be compliant. Okay, please be compliant. Okay, so how would we remember Alex if any of us forget him? So what we want to do, it is so easy. It's when you meet someone, so we've got the association, okay? We need to place it somewhere. So we need to place someone's name on their features. So what feature stands out with Alex?
Big trousers.
His trousers.
His trousers.
He's a great marketer. So what you want to do, what picture do we think of when we say Alex? Feel free to shout out maybe a best friend, a loved one, a celebrity. Alex, anyone got an association for Alex?
Oh, not Alice, the trousers. I thought Pink Panther.
Okay, don't go with that.
Alex Ferguson.
Alex Ferguson, okay, so you want to picture Alex Ferguson on these pink trousers. Maybe he's grabbing onto Alex's trousers. The reason why this works is because if we forget your name, we can work backwards. Okay, we can be, okay, who was grabbing onto his pink trousers? Alex. There's a football manager, Alex Ferguson, Alex. That is the process our brain goes through. And you normally find that when you can't remember something, you're like, oh, what is it? And you look up. And when you look up, you increase blood flow to the part of your brain that stimulates memory. So keep looking up when you've forgotten something. But when you are looking up and you're thinking, you're trying to find something, your brain is looking for a hook. You need those pink trousers. You need Alex Ferguson, the manager. And you need him holding on to it, that action, to remember Alex's name. So thank you very much, Alex, for being you. So throughout this evening, hopefully there'll be time to network. When you meet someone, make that association and look for a feature on their face, what they're wearing, and literally put that association on that feature. So reviewing. So I talked about that magical number 5. Now it's quite tricky with a name to recall it a week later or a month later, but the way you can use it is very simple. The first one is repeat the name back to the person as soon as you meet them. Why is this so important? Well, a name is the sweetest sound. It's one of the best compliments you can give someone. But if you get it wrong, it will be the best insult. So if you repeat it back to them, you can make sure, did I pronounce that correctly? And also it shows, okay, brain, this is important, let's remember this. The second one, use it occasionally throughout the conversation. But don't go overboard, because that can be quite creepy. This is the process of you retrieving the information. So use it occasionally throughout the conversation. And what's great is you can't turn your hearing off. Whilst you're sleeping, if someone says your name, you will wake up compared to any other sound. There's a part of our brain that lights up when we hear our name, it gets our attention. So if you feel like you're losing someone in the audience, Joe, bear with me, you're snapping straight out of it, and your teachers probably did it with you. Next, use it when you leave the interaction. So tonight, when you say goodbye to someone today, say, it was nice to meet you, X. What's great, you've proved to yourself that you can remember their name, and secondly, you've proved to the person you've just met that you remember their name, and they now feel shit because they can't remember yours. I feel so smug when I walk away. I'm not wearing a name badge. Okay, review it on your way home. If this person is of importance, which hopefully everyone in here is, but of course you will want to follow up with certain people, review it on the way home. And the way you can review it, what was the visual image? Was it Alex Ferguson? Okay, where was the location? It was on Alex's pink trousers. Okay. And finally, that person was really, really, really important. Review it the next day. So tomorrow morning, wake up. If you're looking to send them an email, you should be able to recall it quite easily. So, I've done all my part now, giving you all the golden wisdom, condensed what I'm learning, and still learning. Because I'm learning how to apply memory techniques to learning a new language, to martial arts, to remembering long digits. It's truly a superpower which you can turn on and off. However, it's useless, and hopefully you can finish this. People won't buy from you unless they know how much you care. Thank you very much. What's your name? Peter. Peter, thank you very much for the great beard. And I'm thinking Peter Pan right now with your beard. People really won't buy from you unless they know how much you can. The first way you can start is by remembering their name. So thank you very much for your time. So it's one thing you won't get back. However, I didn't get your questions. I can do them now. I remember them. So if you want me to answer them, I could. Although I'd like to throw it over to the audience. And if you've got any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask today, feel free to get in touch and pick my brain. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Alex Holland from Merlin Branding. We do brand storytelling to tell the stories of brands in a way where your brand is not the hero, oh no, the customer is the hero. And I've got to say that tonight I've enjoyed a wonderful presentation by Jordan Harry on remembering names. And success, I remembered his name just there. But I was really impressed. He made the presentation interactive, which is really refreshing for events like this. He had a lot of charisma. He made everybody else feel at ease. The structure was very clear, and he used things that were really practical that we could take away. We actually put them into practice in the session as well. And even though he picked on me in the audience for my inimitable style, I still feel it was a worthwhile event, and I think it's going to be of tremendous value to all the people who came here tonight, and they're going to be able to use it for the benefit of their businesses in a way which is going to lead to more customers, more satisfaction for them, and more value as a whole. So thank you very much.